Alright, we're going to talk about why ATVs flip over. So, we have an ATV here. The first thing we're going to talk about are the physics. Newton's law states for every action, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction. So if we take this machine and the wheels are spinning forward, that in turn, twisting clockwise, is going to make the machine try and twist counterclockwise. That's why when you give gas to something, it wants to wheelie. Likewise, if this wheel is spinning forward and all of a sudden you apply the brakes, making it spin backwards essentially by slowing it down, the weight of the machine is going to want to do this and flip forwards. Now, reaction forces apply to the quad every time you do something on it. The thing to keep in mind is quads are top heavy. That means that the center of gravity is above the axis where the wheels are. If the center of gravity of this quad was down here, it would be quite a stable machine, but because it's up high, then it wants to tip over. Whether that's forward, backwards, or to the side, it wants to tip in a direction. This is made worse whenever you put a rider on it, or boxes, or gear. The more equipment you have, the more top heavy, the higher up the center of gravity is, the more the machine wants to flip over. Rider position comes into play when you're using an ATV because rider position will counteract this top heavy lack of balance. By moving your weight backwards on the machine, more of your weight is over top of the rear axle. That's pulling your center of gravity backwards. That means it's harder for the machine to flip forwards. Likewise, if I'm going up a hill over here, and I have my weight back here, that's a bad place to be. I want my weight forwards to move my center of gravity forwards, so it's harder for the machine to flip up. Riding position also applies on a side hill. If your ATV is on a side hill, you always want to be on the on the uphill side. That way, if the machine does flip over, it's not going to fall on you, but more importantly, you're going to keep the machine balanced. Operator error comes into play when riding over things like bumps or uphills. Being jerky on a quad is very likely to make the machine flip over. On a quad, momentum is key and being smooth is key. Anytime you're being jerky, that's causing quick tire rotations generally, which causes quick reactions of the rest of the machine. Quick reactions are a recipe for disaster. If you have a slow reaction, you have time to move your weight to counteract it. You have time to turn to counteract it. Quick reactions, not so much. So if we're coming to this bump, we're going to move our weight forward on the machine. Hopefully you can see that. As we're going up it. As we come over it, we're going to center our weight. As we're going down it, we're going to move our weight back. That's going to keep your center of gravity moved to either the front or the back of the machine appropriately for going over the obstacle. What you don't want to do is you don't want to move up to an obstacle and stop with your tire touching it and then attempt to restart. What that's going to do is that's going to cause a big reaction force because you have no momentum going into it. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. Since this object's not in motion, it's got no inertia. Inertia is the force of something in motion trying to go this way. That means that this machine, instead of trying to go this way, if you stop touching this bump and then restart, is going to want to kick back. What you should do instead is try and be in a low gear, like first or second, roll into it, keep really steady, light throttle pressure to roll over it slowly. So this is an exaggerated E-bar, but you've seen them. When you're going down into an E-bar like this, what a lot of people will do is they'll go in the wrong gear. Let's say we go in third gear, and we roll down in just fine, maybe apply the brakes. Our weight's going to be back. We'll get here and we're going to stall out going up. We don't have enough power in that gear. What a lot of people will do is they'll leave their machine in this position, already tipped up in an unstable position. They'll shift down into first and then they'll try and start going up this hill. Their weight may be forwards because they're leaning forwards, but their machine's already in such an unstable position. When this wheel begins to rotate clockwise, the whole machine wants to rotate counterclockwise, and they wind up upside down in the E-bar. The safer way to do this is if you're going up a hill and you find you're in the wrong gear, instead of stopping on that hill, let off the throttle and allow yourself to roll back down to flat ground. Once you're on the flat ground, then shift gear and ride up and out. If you're getting stuck and you can't make it up and out because you don't have traction, what you do is you reverse and stop on the downhill. At this point, holding the brakes, you're going to shift into first or second gear, typically second if you're not having enough traction because you want more wheel speed to make it out. And you'll use that momentum. Again, it's not that you have additional traction or power, it's that you already have momentum. That inertia is what's going to carry you up and out.